Hi, I'm Shauna Lee with Infinity Readings. I want to thank everybody who's joined, liked, or subscribed to my page, or my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page called Infinity Readings and Reviews if you want kind of more of a personal insight into where my mind is going, and also access to free monthly readings. And I will be giving away like micro readings. I'll be on for an hour and just accept questions as they come. First come, first serve type thing, and then we'll go from there and see what kind of demand that brings. But that's where you'll get access to that, and that's also where you'll get access if I decide to go outward with my readings. That's Infinity Readings and Reviews on Facebook. Click join, I'll add you in there, and then just wait around and see what happens. A lot of times it's just a more personal view of what I get instinctively throughout the months that I'm not sending the videos out. Sometimes I get intuitive downloads and I spit it out through the page, or I just feel inspired to put, a lot of positive information in that way, and that's where all the kind of the news that I get intuitively is just spewed out there. So I want to thank anybody who's already in there and who is following me, and I want to thank them for their likes, subscribes, for the comments. I appreciate it. As long as it's productive in some way, I absolutely absorb that shit. I get in there, and it actually makes a difference in how I proceed forward. I do have fluxes here and there where family and life gets in the way, and usually everybody's been very accepting and graceful of that time. So I appreciate that for all the people that are on there. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about the decks that I'm using. I have I'm doing a 2 pyramid, male, female split for my readings. I just, came up with that on the fly. I'm using, I found Masculine and Feminine set, which I'm very stoked about. The Gods and Titans deck from Stacey DeMarco, and the Goddesses and Sirens deck, also from Stacey DeMarco. Those are the two, the male and the female, that I use. I clarify the female deck with the Whispers of Love. And I'm turning more into the love side of things. I was clarifying with some grounded energy, but my decks kind of somehow disappeared, so I had to change it up. So the Whispers of Love is really giving the insight to the female side, and then I'm using the Love and Sex Tarot deck to give little harder edge to the God and Titans, the male side, kind of looking into their sexual. I don't know that they would pick up on the softer side of it anyway. I think it would be a little too fluffy. So I think the sexual edge that this tarot deck gives is working very well. I think the energies are working very well. So that is the decks that I'm using at this point. Whatever you're dealing with from June 20th to September 22nd, that is the run time here that I'm forecasting for. There's a few themes that are running through. One of them is a sense of play. Keep that for the summer. Don't get too serious. But those that are driven to need to, I guess. We need to keep love and compassion alive, and not only that, go outward with it. So happy summer to everyone, and on with the readings. This is going to be the reading for Leo. As the first card for the Leo feminine, we have Release. So they may be in the summer months looking at releasing something here, like the spring is come to letting go for them. So I feel like they're on the tail end of this, the Leos are. So interesting how it goes from sign to sign, that there's stuff that leads into the next sign, and releases for the past 2 signs have been coming in different spots. So it really shows the process of carrying through and carrying forward this need to release something. So whatever that may be, I feel like they've really are just at the tail end of doing that. So it just may be some little bit of emotional ties that they have to deal with, but they are releasing what they need to. Now the next card we come across is Peace. So that's really a call back to the release and saying, I'm at peace of letting this go. I don't have any conflict here. I'm not feeling that I shouldn't be letting go. I'm not feeling that, am I doing the right thing? I'm not questioning it. There's peace about their decision, and therefore is going through the right cycles, the right paths to release where it needs to go. The next card we get is irresistibility. So I feel like I can't, I'm bringing these love and sex cards in because I lost my other deck strategically here. And it seems like a lot of these readings are tinting toward the side of personal relationships. I mean, that could be friendships or, intimate partners. But I get a sense here, too, that it may not be an actual relationship that they're letting go or releasing, but having to do with that kind of a process that these Leos are really working through to release something within the relationship that they are really at peace at letting go, and also it is really going to help them increase their resistibility because they themselves needed this process to happen, and now it is. And I mean, they're really seeing it for what it's worth, these feminine sides. And again, this can mutate to the masculine side. It's just really where you sit in your psyche. Every male and female is got the yin and yang in them. It's got the masculine and the feminine. So we're not saying it's just the man, just the women, and if it applies to the men, they're more feminine. No, it's just saying that we all have these two sides intermingled into us. It's just when we ebb and flow, and when we take these parts of us in and deal with them, and when we don't, when we utilize different sides of ourselves. So it's kind of like the Mars and Venus of everything, right? So anyway, after irresistibility comes play. So these Leos, I feel like the feminines are ready for summer in that way. They're going to lighten things up. I think they've been on the serious end of things. I think they've kind of thought a little bit, I wouldn't say they're a stick in the mud, but I'd say that they've really been taking to the more staunch side of things and kind of taking things a little more seriously than they normally would have. So now they're in the summer months here, they're going to be engaging back into that sense of lightness of being and going to be infusing in that and be lighthearted in it. So the place is really going to become a big part of the summer for them. Now, the next card that comes up is healing. So through this whole process of letting go, the peace that you find within that, the irresistibility that you feel because of it, because of letting that thing go. So that's really the feeling I get, is the irresistibility is coming from the thing that you let go, whether it was, whatever, how you deal in certain things. It's really made, if you're partnered, it's made your partner more aware and more grounded in the fact of, I am attracted to this. It's enlivened that. But there's a process here where there's an irresistibility coming from the inside out. And then the healing is coming on the throes of all of that, of feeling all of that. It's kind of like, okay, now we can begin to heal. So it's just a really natural, good flow here. And then we end up at cycles. So realizing really for the Leo females that there is cycles here. And I feel like this may be one of the first times they've really had this much of an intensity looking at their life and going, yeah, oh, did I go through that? I went through that there, I went through it there, and I went through it there. And it caused problems there, it caused problems there, it caused problems there. Why didn't I get rid of this sooner? It was all along, it was there all along. So they're seeing the cycles they had, this unit of energy that they let go of. They've seen the cycles that the problems that it caused in their life, and they're utilizing that at this point forward, which means getting rid of it, but knowing the effect that it had and going forward, and then saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to really change. I may not just drop this, but I'm going to actually change my attitude towards how I dealt with things. Looking at their perception of looking in the past and going, wow, I was really kind of out of it. Didn't know what I was doing. But also going forward to be more mindful. And I think they weren't doing too bad in that way, but they're just really going to go, yeah, I got to be more mindful of this in the future because look what I did. And I didn't even know I was in a loop. Didn't even know I was in a cycle. You know, because if I would have acknowledged that, I would have not created the ruckus that it caused for the Leo feminines, right? So, so they're definitely noticing that there's a cycle, and they're definitely not wanting to have anything to do with that cycle anymore. They're just going, yeah, I am going to move forward and onward and upward, and this is the way it sits. So a pretty low-key reading, but nonetheless powerful from the inside for the Leo feminines. They're releasing some toxic. I don't know if it was toxic as much as to them caused a lot of problems. I feel like it was kind of light on the radar. They weren't really knowing where to look or how to get this thing. But whatever came up there, I feel like there was a situation came up, threw everything out of the apple cart, so to speak. I keep using that analogy, but it's a good one. Everything's upset. And then they're going, yeah, why was I carrying plums, by the way? Like, there's apple. I don't need the plums no more. Let's just get the apples and get them going. You know what I mean? Like, they just didn't realize until, you know, the top layer was gone. You know, and they seen on the inside. So that's a little of what's going on here. And the cycles are illuminated. There's healing, and then irresistibility comes from that. So it's just a feeding into the greater part of those Leos, and they really like to go outward with their personalities in that way, and that is where they shine. So that is really what the summer's going to bring for them. And the play is really going to help them keep the peace. It's going to help them stay down, low key, all of that. So as we go into the love sector here, I pulled 3 cards for love and romance. The first card I get is listen with your heart. You're listening to what is being said to you, but you need to listen with a loving heart. So maybe being emotionally removed, you're getting more emotionally in the game. You're feeling, yeah, I was kind of bumbling on the surface. Now I kind of want to go in and get wet. You know, I want to go down and dive deeper and enjoy this and not be so fearful of what it, you know, people's reactions. I think it's outside reactions that they're afraid of. Backlash in any sense of the word. Like, it could be from your partner, could be from coworkers, could be from whatever. But I'm feeling this has to do with personal relationships and seeing the cycles within that. So listen with your heart in more in terms of depth in that way. The next card I get is turn on your heart light. Allow yourself in the moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. So you need to maybe reminisce a little bit in the past. Not talking about the negative cycles, but talking about the positive production that you had. You know, the times when you really felt the love. The times when you really listened with your heart and felt with your heart and received with your heart. You need to really look back and see what that was that made you feel that way. And not dwell on it, but try and find moments for that in the current, in the now. Trying to find moments where you can connect in the now. So you can look back on it, not dwell and wish for that, because that day is over. But you need to be in the present moment and kind of re-establish, renew more moments like that, like on that train. You know, you need to be on that love train, and the deep love train, like the 3-story love train, not just, you know, are we getting on or are we off? That kind of thing. So you need to be in the love mode, feeling it deeper, acknowledging, you know, what mistakes you made in the past, but also trying to repeat the feelings that maybe you haven't felt in a while. If you're not feeling that deep kind of love, when was the last time you felt it and what was going on when you had it? And maybe you can't have that person or that scenario, but you can reestablish things in the future to bring that about, and that's what they're talking about. The last card in the love and romance sector is take a chance on love. And when we start to love, our hearts are changed forever. So it's really a feeling of depth here. Like, we're just not tuning into the love zone. May have been busy, you know, flitting about, worried about work and things, everyday life, you know, really everyday life. That encompasses everything, but dipping into this love side. And it just pulls you out of that depth. You know, because you got to go, no, I don't have time to look deep into your eyes and say that I truly love you because I gotta go get groceries, I gotta go take the kids this way, I gotta go do this. So it's kind of taking the time to key back into that, go back into that, and see what it has for you, because that's really another theme here. It's always in the moment, but it's another theme is, you know, to just check back into love. We're being pulled from the depths of love here, maybe a little bit by, you know, social media a bit. Just shut it off, tune into your partner. That's really kind of these Leos may be a little bit too busied up to worry about love, so they need to flip that, need to balance it, bring that back in a little bit. So for the masculines, see what we got here. Okay, it starts out with sleep. So there may be a part of themselves that they are trying to awaken, or is trying to awaken within them without even their knowledge of it. The next card I get is organization. So I get a high sense that these Leos are very well prepared, but I see this sleep. It's like there's something out of whack. They're just kind of not knowing what they need to be prepared for, because everything they're prepared for is not coming. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm prepared for this, but we don't really need to be prepared for that, but they're prepared anyway. And then the organization. So there's something that they're going to be witness to. I don't know if this is something that's going to pull through the summer, or if it's going to, I don't think it's going to enlighten over the summer. I think it's going to be hibernating over the summer. But nonetheless, you're organized enough to know that there's something out of whack here. And then the next card we have is altruism. So it has to do with the sense of you being the best you can be, and you realizing that there's a little more paperwork to do here. There's a little more. And not that you thought you were perfect. You'd like to think, but you're smart enough to know that you're not. But you're just feeling that there's an urge here to go a little deeper on things. And I feel like there's going to be stuff revealed to you. And I feel like it may even be in the fall or winter. But nonetheless, you're feeling the itch of that. So you're trying to organize yourself in a way that you can be the most prepared. So it's really a slick process you're going through here. You're not being abrupted. You're not confused or conflicted. You're just like, yeah, feeling like I got to dig a little deeper. So I'll be ready for that when it comes. The next card we get is play. And these Leos are never losing their sense of play. And it's also right by the sleep card, and they're both going, shh, don't tell no one. So there may be a part of these male Leos that really does not want to admit that there's things that they still need to conquer, things that they still need to look after, yet they know and they feel it, but they don't want to be reminded of it. So this play is really their way of kind of weaseling out of that, kind of lightening things up a bit and going, yeah, I know I'm not perfect, but let's just get on with this. I know I got to learn things, and it'll come, and I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried that there are things, because there will be things till the day that I die that I need to uncover and figure out. So in the bigger scheme of things, they really know that there's no point worrying about it or stressing about it or resenting about it, because it will unveil. And they seem to have this unlabored patience, which means that they have the patience to know not to get frustrated. They just know that life unfolds and they'll deal with it in time, and that's a very groovy way to kind of to go with everything. So so that play helps them a lot in that. The next card we get is flow. And that is really what I was thinking too, just before I was saying, with the grooviness of it all. The way that they deal with it, they're definitely in the flow. They're willing to accept things as they come, and they'll deal with it as it comes. They're not going to worry about it before it gets there. So that's flow. That's just, take it as it comes. And that's the best way, because the universe is helping you. And I think that as a male Leo, you kind of have an undercurrent. You may not be talking about the dynamics it takes in the universe to fill and manifestation and all that, but you definitely have an inner compass that is aligned right on cue with the way the universe flows. And that's really, I think, with the Leos, because especially the males and females, but more exalted in the males is that ability to really just shine outward, and that has to do with being so connected to that center of themselves that is with the universe and going with it. And I think among this time they're really they're feeling a sense of themselves being on click, on cue, on, and they're just kind of getting a kick out of that. That's creating that sense of play. It's like, you know what, I got it figured out to a certain degree. I know I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to look, and I'm willing to have the patience to let it come upon me, because that's really how the universe does it effortlessly. And then if you just relax enough to let that come in, you absolutely get caught up in it, and then that's where really that play comes in, and the happiness and the joy and all of that. And underpinning, like a light undercurrent of something, I need something more, or I need to look for something more, but I'm not quite sure where or why or whatever. So there's just an underpinning of that, but very organized and very untethered by anything that comes at them. So they're not going to let anything strangle them, or, so they're just going with the flow. And then the last result card is focus. So yeah, when you have focus and organization right here in the center, so they're very focused, they're very driven as well with that focus, and organization keeps them on track. They're not wavering here and there. They're going down the straight and narrow. They know what they need to do, how they need to do it, and they're going to accomplish that in the best form. So there really is no off ramp here. They are just on the trail, they're in the car, they're on that third story train, and they're laughing and having a drink and just taking it easy, because they know how the universe works, they know what it needs to maneuver, and they're willing to let that come through. Okay, for the love and love and sex sector of the Leo male reading, I got some 3 cards here. Start with the Nine of Pentacles. That's really that card is really about obsessive behavior, obsessive focus, obsessive thoughts, not being able to get someone out of your mind. So you may have someone that you're crushing on, or someone that you just can't get out of your head, really. To the degree that you might even be in a relationship where you're very obsessive about this person, and it actually takes you out of the relationship. You're so into it that you're not really in the moment there. You're obsessing about, oh, how great this is, whatever, but you're not in it. It's hard to express, but that's what I'm getting a sense of. They're so obsessed in the moment that they're absolutely taking themselves out of the moment. They're so deluded by all these other thoughts that they're really not dealing with the one-on-one momentary thoughts. So a bit of and I do feel like there's some couples in this way, like they've got a partner that they're so wrapped up in that they almost can't enjoy the moments with them. So so that kind of an energy coming on, and it comes right on the play card. So the next card I get is the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles reminds me of just that soft, slow, romantical kind of thing. I mean, like the violin in the background is there to symbolize this guy was playing for her before they started getting all fancy here. So, the romanticism and then, dealing with expressing that one step further. So the Five of Pentacles here is really, and Pentacles are grounded energy. So we got a solid situation here. This guy's not just grabbing her out of lust. It may be lustful, but it's not the basis of where it's coming from. So you may have some kind of ups the ante on the Nine of Pentacles and makes it less less creepy, really. Because the obsessive part is just, I'm really into this. I'm really feeling this. I'm really feeling the connection that I have, to a point that it's obsessive and it's bringing me out. But yet, the Five of Pentacles kind of brings you back down to earth and says, I'm feeling it, and I'm going to express it, and da-da-da. So it kind of almost negates each other in the way of weirdness, because you have one extreme to the next, so you meet in the middle. And then the next card we get is the Ten of Wands. Now, the Ten of Wands, when I read from this deck, I usually This card symbolizes to me like a quickie affair, like somebody that just has such a big turn on to someone else that they just go out back and they just take care of it, and then they come back, and then it's like the party goes on and nobody knows the difference. So that's kind of what I get from this card. So we may have some singles out there who are obsessing about a possible partner that they are wanting to have all the, the soft romantical side, but they're kind of just in those hormonal states where they want to just take it and not, I don't want to say this as in a promotion, but like abuse it. They want to just go all the way through it and, go from 0 to 60 in 1.3, and they just want to do that. So it seems like they're kind of running the gamut here with the sex and love. These males, they're feeling very turned on, very ready to pounce. And, I'm feeling a lot for the singles. Roaming eyes, but there's one that really gets them going. So that's the one they're focused on. And I feel like, you know what, I'm going to pull another card for this to see if it's off in the clouds and just in a mind thing, or this is an actual reality. And we get the 7 of Wands. So it's something they got to be careful of, because they're walking the line of creepy and not creepy. I think these Leos as a whole, I think they can get carried away in a group of men and kind of lose themselves a little bit. But I'm thinking about partying with the buddies and then seeing something and then getting aroused by that and kind of getting carried away with a group atmosphere rather than the way that he actually thinks. And I think if he got himself on his own terms and was not so distracted by everyone else, he really would be on the right side of it, because there's this 5 of Wands bringing out that romantical, like really wanting to treat a woman right. But there seems to be a drive, a physical drive that's overflowing him into areas where he just wants to take her out back and go. And, and so it's just on that line. It's just on that line of the barrier in that way. So he's got to watch himself. The single males, I think if you're partnered, you may be going through a flux of infusement of energy in the bedroom, in that area. You may be having a partner that I'm feeling the ones that it applies to, it's a partner they just kind of got, and they're just stoked about getting it. They're like, yeah, this is exactly, they're so excited. But and everything's all fresh and new. The whole, what do you call that, the honeymoon stage, of the relationship. First 3 months, you're just going like rabbits. And so I feel like that's really what it applies to, is you really got someone you figured you couldn't get, and it's someone that you just, you really put on high esteem in a sexual kind of way. So you're really just kind of stoked and don't know how to handle that, or maybe fluctuating with it and gotta, even it out a little bit in the end here. I'm not gonna go any further. I could go further, but I'm not gonna. For the most part, I think we're gonna get more into in-depth readings like this towards the winter, and then next year, over the new year, I'm gonna think of putting out more in-depth love and sex relationship readings. More on the side of couples, but also it'll include the singles as well, because there's a lot of people that are just in between looking, and a lot of us don't have patience in that in between time to really let life come in. So we're always searching, and then you go on and you look, okay, I want to find out what's going to happen before it happens, so almost like you can be prepared. But this guy, he kind of feels like he wasn't prepared for this yes that he got from this woman, so he's just indulging like a lion. He's just going at it. So that's really the sense I get over the summer in the love and sex area. So if they're partnered, they're really infusing into each other to a point of obsession. And then if you're not partnered, I feel like you're going to have little trysts here and there that you can indulge in, and that's just where they're at. That's just where they're at, indulging in that. So for the summer of 2017, that is Leo's reading from Infinity Readings. I am Shauna. So have yourself a great summer. Take care, have fun, and be kind.